Tom Weiskopf was one of my idols growing up. I loved the way he...
Looks like Rory McIlroy, Frank, sticking the follow-through.
After that good tee shot, Rich, it's time to take full advantage of it.
Yeah, this is one where he can really go after the whole location and maybe think about making birdie. Frank had hit the green, but just didn't have enough backspin.
Another good swing, another good approach shot.
A makeable putt right here. He is currently sitting at 1 under par. Stays at 1 under with that par. Frank, the 7th hole here at the TPC Sawgrass, vintage Pete Dye, isn't it?
It is. Anything other than straight confuses the player off the tee. But there's 3 pot bunkers down the right side, just inside that last little pot bunker on the left of that. It's actually a pretty good line.
How about this, Frank? You don't see this too often. He's setting up to take a shot from the cart path.
Different sort of drive.
Frank, this one's not looking good.
Yeah, certainly not down the fairway line, heading toward the rough.
Pretty good result right there, considering...
It looked rough all the way.
Exactly.
Rich. Really did.
Frank, I'm not saying he should pull out driver here, but this is a long putt.
Greens are fast, though. You never know. Good line, good pace. Might have a chance.
That's all he wanted to do there.
Yeah, it's touch. And when you think from that distance, chances of making are almost none. So to guarantee a 2-putt, well done.
This one just requires a little bit of focus. That's a nice confidence builder right there. You make those for par, and you keep things steady. Second round coverage coming your way tomorrow. For our entire crew, I'm Rich Lerner alongside Frank Navalo. So long for now. EA Sports and the Web.com Tour proudly present second round coverage of the Web.com Tour Championship.
Game's about rhythm. When you have good rhythm, it just looks effortless. To hit the ball 300 yards through the air, that easy.
Frank, now the second shot here at hole number 6.
Yeah, not overly long, but be very aware of these palm trees that are short. Many a shot's caught those trees coming into this green.
That should be pretty good right there. On the safe side. That's well played. Now a good look at birdie. Made par yesterday. This one for birdie. This can be a cruel game at times. Good try, just didn't quite read the break, Frank.
It shouldn't be a problem, you'd think, cleaning up here for par.
Just a couple of feet. And he has it.
A good putt redeems all.
Frank, what do you think of the 7th?
Interesting par 4 for two reasons. The undulating green on the end of the hole that also shapes to the right, that makes it look like a dogleg right. But really, you want to play that tee shot just inside those pot bunkers down the right side.
Now the approach to the 7th. Frank, what do you need to be mindful of here?
It's rather narrow in the front of the screen, and then there's some mounds both right and left. Be very aware of those mounds. They can actually help you out.
Not enough on that one.
Yeah, just seemed to baby it.
So he didn't hit the green in regulation, but he still has a reasonably good chance to save his par, about 10 feet away. Shouldn't be a problem here, but not a formality either. Oh, man.
I just pushed it.
Boy, that hurts. This to avoid a huge number. This is for bogey. Frank, nothing really went the player's way this week.
Yeah, if this was motor racing, you'd say it's a case of having 4 flat tires.
TPC Sawgrass, the fabled stadium course designed by the legendary Pete Dye. Rich Lerner alongside Frank Nobilo. Here at the 8th, Frank, most players are happy walking out of here with a par 3.
And the reason why, it's a very narrow entry to the screen. It's just littered with bunkers around, left, behind, to the side, and even short. Once you get further up the green, though, even though this is sort of an undulating green, it starts to widen up. So don't get trapped into just looking at the front of this hole.
Looks like he just misread that. Settles in over the putt. Well, you could see he thought he had that.
It looked in the whole way until the end.
Frank, this is just an embarrassing performance.
There's no crying in golf, Rich.
Frank, I think this is one of the most fascinating holes on the golf course. The 583-yard par 5 ninth hole.
With technology now, a lot more players can reach this par 5 and 2. Gone are the days where it was a true 3-shotter, but I remember when Sergio Garcia hit that 3-wood from, what was it, 270, 280 yards? Still one of the best shots I've ever seen.
Frank, not the longest hitter, but sometimes you win tournaments by putting it in a good spot, and that's where we are right here, 280 yards out.
Yeah, 280 down the middle of the fairway. That'll never get you in trouble.
Frank, that ball's sitting up like it's on plush carpeting.
Rich, if you and I had lies like that every time, we'd still be playing this game for 11.
Frank, when you think layup shot on a par 5, you think it's easy. This isn't necessarily that simple, is it?
No, you've got to keep the ball to the right. Otherwise, those overhanging limbs on those trees on the left, they become havoc.
Terrific golf shot. And now, that for an easy birdie. Just 5 feet left.
Well, that'll put the smile back on the face.
Now on to one of the most exciting back nines in golf here at the TPC Sawgrass and the stadium course. Let's begin at number 10. Frank, and what do you make of this hole?
It's another one where you're just trying to fit the tee shot in the fairway there. It's not a driver, just something that stays right. And, of course, we've seen a lot of people stray here down the left side. Who can forget Mickelson when he won his Players' Championship, hitting that phenomenal 7-iron out of the fairway bunker, through the trees, and still finding the putting surface. But speaking of the putting surface, this green has more undulations than just...
Frank, where's the difficulty on this approach here at the 10th?
It's really the shape of this green. That little front piece, you have to be right on the money there. And then, of course, that green starts to open up and then move to the right.
He'll need to be strong with this. Pretty good shot right there. And getting ready for the putt. Losing a bit of ground now in this tournament. With the bogey, falls to 2 over. So 2 rounds in the books. Frank, that was fun.
It certainly was. It bodes well for the weekend. Saw a lot of good players that seem to actually have a good fit for this golf course. That bodes well for the next 36 holes.
EA Sports and the Web.com Tour proudly present third round coverage of the Web.com Tour Championship. We are into the third round of the Web.com Tour Championship, the fourth and final stop of the Web.com Tour Finals. 50 PGA Tour cards up for grabs, dreams about to be made.
It's amazing what's ahead of these young players, Rich. Not just getting through the next 2 rounds, but also trying to suppress perhaps what might be for them next year. Well, that's got to be 300 yards, isn't it?
Frank, what's the best way to get at this first hole?
Ideally, you want to go with a short iron. Makes it easier to keep the ball on the right level.
Frank, this one looks like it might have a postage stamp on it. Airmail City.
Yeah, lick it. Send it.
Wow, lucky break right there, Frank.
Well, that's what everyone else is going to say, except him.
Par yesterday. Now for birdie. Moves into the top 25 with that birdie. A nice scoring opportunity here. 532-yard, par 5 second hole, Frank. Considered one of the easier holes on the golf course. What do you think?
Yeah, I think you can just cut this in half. 532 yards divided by 2. Really, it's 2 tee shots over 260 yards. For these guys, nothing more than a 3 or 4 wood. And that's why all you need off the tee is just a 3-wood with a little draw.
You disappointed if you don't make 4 here?
Not disappointed, but obviously you lose at least half a shot on the field. Second shot.
That was a big, bold strike, and now a chance for a big, bold move. Putt for eagle coming up. Long putt here. This will require a good touch. Always 2 components to the long lag putt, the speed, number 1, and then the read. And missed out on that second part. Starting to move now, Frank, on this leaderboard.
Certainly going all in the positive direction. He's in the middle of the pack, now top 15.
So we started with a par 4, then a par 5, and now the 177-yard par 3 third hole. Plenty of hazards here, Frank.
Yeah, you really break this green up into 3 portions. Front left, front right, and that back, just on top of the ridge.
Frank, it hit the green, but just didn't have enough backspin.
You wonder what he's thinking on that.
Second shot coming out of the rough here.
Not a problem there, Rich.
Really not much to this. The only issue would be a lack of concentration or focus. Good effort and good par putt. Frank, how would you describe the bunker all along the right here at number 4?
Well, it looks like it never stops. It covers really the entire length of that tee shot down the right side.
That's a good spot right there.
Center cut. Got the measurement out there, Rich. Looks like 290 yards.
Frank, as we watch the Web.com Tour Finals, anyone in particular you think could be a breakout star? Someone like a Keegan Bradley who jumped right out onto the PGA Tour and won the PGA Championship in his first ever start in a major.
Well, this player that I'm looking at right now, yes, and I mean you out there. Look at that. A prodigy since the age of 2. A lot of people in the golf world have just been waiting for you to finally get to this point. And, well, time for me to watch, time for you to play.
Good roll. So through 3 rounds, just outside the top 10, what kind of a chance do you give a player who is sitting outside the first 10?
Yeah, it's slim. I certainly would not say none, though, Rich. You know, we've countless times over the years seen someone post an early one in and watch the leaders crumble at the end. Good opportunity tomorrow. Put a good round on the board and then just...
EA Sports and the Web.com Tour proudly present final round coverage of the Web.com Tour Championship. Frank, challenging approach shot here at the 14th.
Yeah, there's some subtle mounds in this green. One that comes in on the right, and then another one that starts to come in about 2/3 of the way down on that left side.
Uh-oh, this one's going left, Frank. Into the tall cabbage. That ball is swallowed up. Ball sitting down here in the rough. He's digging in.
I mean, this skill, and that was sublime.
Just good hands, coming out of the rough, able to manage the distance, and now in great position. Not a gimme, but well within his range. Well, you just can't make up ground if you don't make putts. Drop shot here at the 14th hole. Trying to get out of here without too many bumps and bruises. This one is for bogey. So that's a bogey, and now to 1 over par for the tournament. Now to the 15th, and Frank, I know this is a hole that you really like.
Yeah, it gets no respect in my book, which I think is a shame. Just a nice dogleg to the right. And really 2 good shots and a 3 here, which is actually a rarity. It sets you up for those closing 3 holes. Too often people just take 15 lightly. And 15 has just a gentle nibble that turns into a bite. Long and straight.
That's how you do it.
Ooh, nice little bounce forward. Should be close to 300, 290.
Frank, for our viewers just tuning in, remind them what is at stake here in this Web.com Tour Championship final.
50 players will actually go forward in 2015, have their PGA Tour card. And the way it's divvied up is you take the top 25 on the money list from the regular Web.com season. And then added to that, the remaining 25 cards will come from this Web.com Finals series. That's the 50 guys, and they'll all be ranked in position of where they finish. Sneaking into contention here with that birdie.
Top 15 now on the leaderboard. Frank, I think one of the things that fans love about this gauntlet, 16, 17, and 18, each hole has that sort of hold your breath moment. Certainly 17, we know when that ball's in the air, you're holding your breath. Is it wet or dry? 16, same on that second shot. You're holding your breath wondering, where is it? Right in the water or left with a chance for 3?
That's why you don't want to get too sloppy on that tee shot. A lot of people look at 16 because there's a wide fairway and they think just get it down there. But the extra 10 or 15 yards, there's a little ridge down that left side. If you catch that, the ball will kick good 20 yards further forward. 20 yards is too close. I'd much rather go into 17 with a 4-iron than a 2-iron. Whoop, this is taken off on a weird line.
And it's going to be in the rough, it looks like. Into the thick stuff, that's a difficult lie. Frank, this ball's in the rough. You like to hinge just a little bit quicker on the takeaway when the ball is down like this?
No, when it's down, you've just got to make sure that you wind up almost like you're hitting a tee shot. This is not one to be...
Good news is, was able to retrieve the golf ball.
Yeah, on dry land, and can he carry it this time, though?
Has to regroup, playing his 5th shot after hitting it in the water.
Yeah, it's not all lost. Once again, check the yardage, check the wind, start again.
Wouldn't say that was his best, but not bad either. On the green and with a putt. This is a pretty long putt here. You'd be happy to get this to within 2 or 3 feet. You really want to take the stress out of that next putt. So a long putt there and just didn't read it quite right. Locked in on the read and the speed. Can't make it, Frank, if you don't hit it.
Hubert Green once said, 99% of putts left short don't go in. I don't know what happened to the other 1%, but...
That hole certainly got the best of him. Triple bogey.